Vahal Tandon with you, and you're watching us live on our official YouTube channel, that is NCRT Official, and on NCRT and PMeVIDYA channel number 7. So we are celebrating Teachers Day today. So out there, every teacher is celebrating the most special day. So happy Teachers Day to all of you. And in today's live session, we are going to study about the subject mathematics, in which we will learn the chapter Lines and Angles Part 2. And to explain this chapter in more detail, we have a guest in our studio. Let's welcome her. So Sonlata ma'am, welcome to our studio.
Thank you. Hello viewers.
So in today's live session, if you have any queries in between, you can just call us on 8800440559, or you can email us your queries on dth.class7@ciet.nic.in. And if you want, you can just drop in your messages in our live chat box as well. So let's begin today's live session. So Swarnlata ma'am, what this chapter Lines and Angles is all about?
Yeah, we will discuss in this chapter, Jyotsna, about the properties of parallel lines. We will study about different angles, what are complementary angles, what are supplementary angles, what are adjacent angles, and children are going to learn many properties and how to solve the problems involving these properties. Okay? So shall we begin?
Yes.
Here children, let's begin with complementary angles. What are complementary angles? When the sum of the measures of two angles is 90 degrees, the angles are said to be complementary angles. Okay? You can see here in this picture that these two angles, 40 degrees and 50 degrees, are complementary angles because they add up to 90 degrees. Notice that together they make a right angle. Okay, Jyotsna, 40 degrees plus 50 degrees is equal to 90 degrees. So these are complementary angles. But the angles don't have to be together always. These two angles are also complementary because 27 degrees plus 63 degrees is equal to 90 degrees. Can you see children? We have two separated angles.
Yes,
the sum is, yes, okay. So if two angles add up to 90 degrees, we say they complement each other. Alright. Now, what is the measure of the complement each of the following angles? Let us see 45 degrees. What do we do, children? We subtract it from 90 degrees and we get the answer as 45 degrees. Okay. And if it is 53 degrees, then we will subtract 53 from 90 degrees and we will get the answer as 37 degrees. Right? Okay. Now, what do you mean by supplementary angles, children? When the sum of the measures of two angles is 180 degrees, the angles are called supplementary angles, right? So here these two angles 140 degrees and 40 degrees are supplementary angles because they add up to 180 degrees. Notice that together they make a straight angle. Okay children, 140 plus 40 degrees is going to be 180 degrees. Okay, but the angles don't have to be again together. These two angles also supplementary because we have 60 degrees plus 120 degrees is equal to 180 degrees. Okay. If the two angles add to 180 degrees, we call them that they are supplementing each other. They are supplement of each other.
Yes.
Two angles are supplementary and one of them is 31 degrees, Jyotsna. Then what is the measure of the other angle? We have four options here: 31 degrees, 59 degrees, 121 degrees and 149 degrees. Look children, what we are going to do? We are going to subtract that angle 180 degrees minus 31 degrees is equal to 149 degrees. Okay. For complementary we subtracted from 90 degrees and for supplementary angles, remember children, we have to subtract from 180 degrees. I hope it is clear?
Yes.
Okay. Now what are adjacent angles, children? Two angles are said to be adjacent if they have the common side and a common vertex and non-common arms on the either side of the common arm. Okay, we will have a teaching aid here. I will show you. Angle ABC is adjacent to angle CBD in the picture you can see because they have a common side CB. Can you see common side CB? And they have a common vertex, children, that is B. Okay, so these angles are said to be adjacent angles. Now here see, I can show you children we can see in this, see, we have this as a straight line and this is a ray, Jyotsna.
Okay.
Okay. See, can you observe here that this angle, this angle is acute angle.
Okay.
And what about this other angle? It is obtuse, because acute angle is less than 90 degrees, children, and this angle will be greater than 90, only then these two will add up to 180 degrees.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
So, we have these two angles are said to be adjacent angles because they have common arm here. One angle is this and the other angle is this. They have common vertex and they have common arms. Okay. So, these angles are said to be adjacent angles. Let us do one question here. It is based on the adjacent angles. What is the measure of angle X? If angle AOC, just now I showed you, AOC is an angle equal to 4x. We also have another angle BOC is equal to 6x plus 30 degrees. Okay. So, as I said, BOA is a straight line and OA is a ray standing on it. Okay. So, according to the property of linear pair, the adjacent angles are said to form a linear pair when they are adding up to 180 degrees. So, let me take angle 6x plus 30 degrees plus 4x is equal to 180 degrees. We have angle BOC and angle AOC, both are having a common arm, they are forming a linear pair. These two are adjacent angles forming a linear pair. Now, if I add terms having similar terms, no, they are having x common. So, what is 6x plus 4x?
10x.
It will be 10x, very good, plus 30 degrees is equal to 180 degrees. So, what about 10x? If 30 has to go to the other side, the sign will change and we will have 180 minus 30 degrees, children. So, we have 10x is equal to 150 degrees, and if I divide this by 10, what will be the answer? Yes, you are right. Answer will be 15 degrees. Okay, children, this way we will be solving the questions based on adjacent angles.
Okay.
All right. Now, we have another question for you here. First, we have here find the value of x and y in the following. In this one, we can have this as one line AB and this is another line CD. Okay. Let me name it as AB and CD. In this case, the lines are intersecting. Here, what is the property? We have opposite angles to be equal. Alright, Jyotsna. So, what is the value of x? X has to be equal to 75 degrees because of vertically opposite angles. So, children, you have studied that whenever lines are intersecting, the vertically opposite angles will be equal. So, when I write down the answer, I need to mention the reason also why I am writing x is equal to 75 degrees. What about y, children? Just now I mentioned about the property vertically opposite angles. So, y is just opposite to?
Yes, 105.
Yes, 105. So, angle y will be equal to 105 degrees. Again, reason is same, that they are vertically opposite angles. Alright. Okay. Now, let us look into our slide on the next. We have here. We can see some pictures. These are adjacent angles, they share a vertex and a side. And in the second picture, you can see that not adjacent angles, they only share a vertex but not a side. And in the third case, children, they are not adjacent angles, they only share a side, not a vertex. So, you need to recognize when the lines, when the angles are adjacent and when they are not adjacent. Okay. Also, the angles must not overlap. In case of adjacent angles, they should not overlap. This is mandatory. Not adjacent angles A and B, because they are overlapping. Can you see angle A and angle B? Some part is common in between them. So, they are not adjacent angles. Now, here we have a question for you. In the above diagram, which of the following pairs of angles are not adjacent? Just admire this angle. See, A and B, of course they are adjacent, they have a common arm. What about B and C? Yes, they also have a common arm in between. What about B and D? No, they are not adjacent because they have angle C in between them, right? So, C option is the correct answer. B and D are not adjacent angles. I hope it is clear. Now, we have two angles that are adjacent and supplementary. The two non-common arms form a straight line. Now, we had this property, we just now solved a question. Two angles that are adjacent and supplementary, the two non-common arms form a straight line. Then that is why it is giving 180. Look here, we have a common side and angle 1 plus angle 2. These two are forming a linear pair. Okay. Angle 1 plus angle 2 is equal to 180 degrees. One important observation here, children, if I increase the size of angle 1, what will happen to the angle 2? If I increase the size of angle 1, what is going to happen? The size of angle 2 will decrease,
yes,
isn't it? Because the sum has to be 180 degrees. Alright. So, as the measure of angle 1 increases, the measure of angle 2 will decrease. Okay, I hope it is clear. Here we have vertically opposite angles, children. These vertically opposite angles are the angles opposite to each other when two lines cross.
Okay.
Now, here see A and B are vertically opposite angles, and you can see here angle A and angle B are exactly opposite to each other. So, they are going to be always equal in magnitude. Here let us solve one question here, children. Here see, children, we have vertically opposite angles. See, in this, this is a line, let us take this as CD is a line, and this is AB. Okay. So, angle BOD and angle AOC will be equal. These are green in color.
Yes. Yes.
So, they will be exactly the same. Okay. Whenever two lines intersect, we will have vertically opposite angles to be equal. Same way, this is 120 degrees, children, and this opposite angle also will be equal to 120 degrees.
Yes.
You can measure on this. See, I have a round protractor here. If I see, this will be 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60. This is 60 and this is a straight line. So, Jyotsna, this angle will be how much? 120. You can see also on the protractor, see, yes. 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 100, 110, 120.
Yes.
Okay. So, we have 120 plus 60 is equal to 180. It is forming a linear pair also. Okay. And these vertically opposite angles are equal, yes. And these green color angles also are also equal.
That 60-degree angle.
Yes. Okay. So, I hope this is clear. And one more thing, suppose I can increase or decrease, I will find different types of angles, children. They will be equal. So, when they reduce in size also, they will be equal. Okay. Because whenever lines will intersect, we will have vertically opposite angles to be equal. Alright. Then here we have another question for you based on this only. Find the value of x in the following. Just observe this. We have L is parallel to M. Okay. We are given that L is parallel to M and we have T is a transversal. Okay. Transversal is a straight line which cuts the two parallel lines. We observe that the given angle is 110 here, children. Can you tell me how much will be angle x here?
So, I guess we should
see, we will take here. Listen, see, this is very good. 180 degrees because of straight line. So, this will be equal to how much? 180 minus 110 will be 70 degrees. And these two angles, children, will be corresponding angles and therefore, these two will be 70 degrees. Okay. These two angles we have because of corresponding angles. Why they are equal? Because the lines are parallel. Whenever lines are parallel, we have pair of corresponding angles to be equal. If this is 70, obviously x also will be 70. I hope the point is clear here.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, very good. Now, let us look into another problem we have here. In case of parallel lines, children, just now we have discussed, see. Yes, we have this as a straight line and this is another straight line. This is line L and this is line M, and this, as I told you, is a transversal. Alright. So, this angle, let me name it as angle 1 and this is angle 2. These two are equal. As just now I mentioned, what are these angles called? Corresponding angles. So, whenever these two lines are parallel and this will be a transversal, and if the transversal cuts these two parallel lines, then I will have the corresponding angles to be equal. Now, can you tell me, Jyotsna, do we have another set of parallel, corresponding angles here? Yes. What about angle 3 and angle 4?
Oh, yes, ma'am.
Yes.
Yes.
So, I can see, I can remove this and I can show you this angle 3 will be equal to angle 4 because they are corresponding angles. Alright. And in case we have, see, when the lines are parallel, we have couple of properties. First one is, whenever lines are parallel cut by a transversal, then we have pair of corresponding angles to be equal, and we also have alternate interior angles to be equal.
Yes.
See, this is angle 2, this angle will be equal to angle 4. Alright. This 2 will be equal to angle 4.
Okay.
Where will be alternate interior angles. Alright. And one more question I have here for you.
So, will that be also 75 degrees, the angle 4?
Yes, I was about to ask you this question. I was about to. Beautiful, wonderful student. We have in class also such situations. No, children are ready with the spontaneous answers. Can you name here vertically opposite angles, Jyotsna? Can you see in this pair of vertically opposite angles? 1 and 4 are vertically opposite angles because these two lines are intersecting and therefore they are equal.
Yeah.
Alright. So, angle 1 and angle 4 are equal. I will have that is equal to 75 and angle 4 and 2 are also equal because of alternate interior angles.
Yes.
I hope it is clear.
Yes.
And what about angle 3? Can you tell me how much will be the value of angle 3?
I think
See, this is a straight line.
Yes.
Okay. So, what I should do? I must subtract from 180 degrees 75 degrees. So, how much it will be? Yes, it will be 105 degrees.
Okay.
Yes?
Yes,
I hope it is clear.
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Now, here children, I have, see, I have adjacent angles here. One more property we will discuss. See, this is a straight line and this is a ray standing on it. So, this is an angle, acute angle. Here it measures out to be 50 degrees.
Yes.
Okay. So, what will be the measure of this angle? It will be 180 minus 50 degrees. Yes, you are right. How much it is? 180 minus 50 degrees. That is equal to 130 degrees. Alright. So, this is also forming a linear pair. Alright. What happens? I was telling you, when I increase the measure of this angle, see, what I am going to do is, see, these are the slots provided in the plastic strips, and I am easily able to manage the size of the angle. And with the help of protractor, I can see the measure of the angles also. So, this is available with the NCERT kit. They have made all this equipments available for the verification of these angles. See, here we have, how much is the angle? It is 75 degrees. Alright. So, and this, the rest angle, we can easily measure with the help of this protractor.
Yes.
And now what is done? I have increased the measure of acute angle here. Yes. So, the measure of the obtuse angle is decreased.
Yes, ma'am.
Right. And what happens to this when it comes to 90 degrees? this is 90, this is also 90.
Yes.
Because I told you, what do you call those angles when the addition of two such adjacent angles is equal to 90 degrees? We call them complementary angles. Right, children? Okay. Now, suppose I change this. See what happens. This becomes an obtuse angle,
yes,
and this becomes an acute angle. I hope it is very clear to you.
Yes,
in case of it is forming a linear pair, what is happening when I increase one angle, the other angle has to decrease. So, children, I hope you will remember the definitions of complementary angles. When the addition of two adjacent angles is 90 degrees, we call them complementary angles. And what about supplementary angles? When the sum of two angles is 180 degrees, we call them supplementary angles. Right?
Yes.
And whenever you have two lines to be intersecting, we have vertically opposite angles to be equal. And what about parallel lines, children? When the lines are parallel and cut by transversal, we have pair of corresponding angles to be equal, right? Pair of alternate interior angles to be equal, and we have one more property. We will learn in the next session also about it. We will be doing activities, that is sum of two interior angles on the same side of transversal are supplementary. I can show you with the help of this instrument I have here. See here, Jyotsna, if I have this, here I said these two are parallel lines, children. Okay. We can just adjust this. Yes, these two are parallel lines and this is a transversal, children. So, I said the sum of two angles on the same side of transversal. That means this angle, Jyotsna, this angle and this angle will always be equal to 180 degrees.
Okay.
Then only the lines will be parallel,
yes,
and vice versa. Suppose I just change the angles. Now, you just see. If I change the angles now, the sum obviously does not look to be 180, right?
Yes.
So, the lines also will be intersecting. If I produce them further, the lines will be intersecting. So, it is mandatory for the lines to be parallel for this property to be satisfied, right?
Yes,
that is the sum of the interior angles, we call them co-interior angles also, Jyotsna.
Okay.
So, consecutive interior angles, or we call them as interior angles on the same side of transversal. See, we have this angle and this angle, both will be adding up to 180 degrees. We have another pair also here on the left side. Can you see this angle?
Yes.
Here also this is another pair which will give us the sum of these two angles to be 180 degrees.
Yes.
Okay. So, when lines are parallel, children, we have pair of corresponding angles to be equal, pair of alternate angles to be equal, and the third property is sum of co-interior angles on the same side of transversal are supplementary. Okay. I hope you enjoyed the session. Please revise these properties and practice the problems given in your textbook.
So, children, we hope that you enjoyed today's live session of this mathematics subject, and we learned about linear lines and angles part 2. Thank you so much, Swarnlata ma'am.
Thank you.
You gave our time, you came to our studios and explained this chapter wonderfully. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Thank you, viewers.
So, thank you so much, dear students, parents and teachers, whosoever are watching us right now, and I really hope that you enjoyed the chapter as much as I did. So, thank you so much for joining us, and stay tuned with us for our next live session. Here, I am Jyotsna Tandon taking your leave. Namaskar.